Hey guys, it's Angel. Welcome back to Flight Simulator 2020, and we are here high in the Dolomite Mountains in northern Italy, in the Veneto region in fact, which is northeastern Italy. It's an airport called Casero Razzo. This is a custom field created by Schmax. It's available on MSFS add-ons, link in description. It is a 400 meter grass strip located 1800 meters up in the Dolomite Mountains. It is very high altitude, and we're taking a lovely little trip today from here. In fact, we'll go out here. As yes, this there we go. Just flipping around. This will also help me see the runway from this beautiful little area. And we're going to be using this grass over here to take off on, up into the mountains, and we're flying to LOWZ in Austria. That is the Gaia Simulations DLC airport available from Orbx, and the guys over there, you can get that on the FTX Central app and their website. Look at this. This is beautiful. Sound of Music, beautiful. Yeah, northeastern Italy. Absolutely stunning, stunning terrain. So, without further ado, let's make sure my controls are actually wanting to actually recognize my yoke now, thanks to the controller, because it does that sometimes. There we go. Nicely flipped across. We're going to get ourselves turned. I was about to say get ourselves turned on. That would be we're not going to say that, because that has connotations, and I'm not feeling connotation-y today. Either way, okay, we are looking good. Let's get our brakes applied, fuel pump on. It's going to be a high altitude takeoff for us today, so we want to make sure we are ready for that one. The parking brake is set, so we should be good to start the engine. No problems there. Okay, avionics are on. Pumps are off. And we're looking good. Throttle back here. Just keep the engine idling. So we have our route set. I'm using Garmin Pilot as always. And we should be passing by Lima Oscar Kilo Lima, which is Nickelsdorf. Flugplatz Nickelsdorf in Austria. The first place we'll pass by. And passing through some of the biggest mountains before we drop down into LOWZ. Well, why don't we get going? Sounds like a good... Thank you. Leave my hat switch alone. This will be one of my last flights with the Cessna Sci-Tech yoke, because tomorrow, hopefully, if UPS is on time, my Honeycomb Alpha yoke will be arriving, and start of December once the pre-order comes in. The Bravo throttle quadrant, and I hope to do some unboxing and reviews of both of those. My desk and flight area is not the cleanest, so we will see what we can do. But we'll hopefully get that available for you guys. I know you've probably seen other reviews and things of them, but I hope to give you a really, really unbiased, neutral review of that and see where we go. Right, so this is it. High altitude takeoff in the Italian Alps. Let's go. Full throttle. We've got takeoff flaps set. I'm going to just let this roll a little bit to the side here because I want to hit those rocks. Grass is grass, right? And we're up. I knew this plane would do it. Let's clean her up. All the logging happening down there at the cabin. Oh my god, that is beautiful. Look at that. In fact, that seems to be the way we're going, so get ourselves turned on course. Beautiful little plane this, the VL3. It's a ultralight technically, but it can cruise at about 3,000 feet, which is pretty darn impressive. Running the Rotax engine in here, so really high RPM, which typically gives us very good performance. We'll knock back our throttle there. We are on course, so I'm going to try and aim for the gap between those peaks. As you can see, we're already at pretty high altitude here, which is going to make life a little more interesting, but the Rotax does perform great at altitude. So you see there, we're already passing 6,000 feet. Cruise would be 7,500 if I wanted to go up and straight and go along, But that's not how we roll. We are, of course, using the SoFly Weather Presets Pro today. This is Autumn Sunshine, and it is pretty gorgeous. Unfortunately, it looks like we'll be waiting for that European update from Asobo for the area to hopefully pretty up things. But I'll tell you what, back there, that was stunning back in the valley. So the slightly yellow satellite mountains are not my favourite, but they aren't terrible, I'll be honest. I have seen worse in the FSX days, so I'll take it. I'll pretend it's sunshine glinting off the mountains. Okay, there we go. Oh, there we go. Right, we're looking good now. Let's throttle back here so we're not over speeding the aircraft. There we go, and we're on course, or will be in a second, to heavily manage the engine in this thing because it does not want to run at full throttle the whole time. What are you telling me? I'm pretty impressed my RPM is that high considering I'm actually... Thank you. Oh, I have pitch. That's weird because I have no controller for the pitch. But the prop pitch is apparently responding. Thank you, Microsoft, for that. Which means I can throttle the engine up here and actually gain some airspeed. And this imaginary prop pitch is apparently a factor in the Rotax. Yet not modelled. Unless it's one of the prop pitches set with a... Yes, there it is. It's a knob style. Yep, there is one. That is correct. Okay, so we are actually accurate there. They actually have that in the aircraft. You'll notice down here is where you actually set the pitch. Now, of course, you can't set it to automatic as you would in the real thing, but it does work. Unusual for a pilot like me that's used to Cessnas and having a lever for it. But, yeah. Or a lever. I should be British and say lever, but I'm so used to Americans, I say lever. We can run at full throttle, essentially, because of the altitude we're at right now, which allows us at about 7,200 feet here to begin to settle down and shallow out our flight. We should be crossing over the Austrian border very shortly. Look at that. A beautiful part of the world. Haven't done as much flying in Europe as I would have liked to, and this is a great excuse to do just that. MSFS addons.com has a huge repository of great freeware sceneries you can get hold of, and people have put some serious effort into them for 2020. They look amazing and I love them. We'll wander off our track a little bit here and there, just skirting terrain, not wanting to get too close to anything in particular. Plane gets a little rattly at this altitude with the thin air. But that isn't the end of the world. Cruising past the peak here. Yeah, looking forward to the update they do for Europe. It will make a big difference, I think. Especially seeing as I'm running on Ultra. Yeah. Hey, it's not perfect, but you know what? This is so much better than anything we've had in the past that I will take it for default scenery. It's fantastic. Okay, so it's just a bit of throttle off here, bring the nose down. Nice and gentle. Use throttle to balance the nose of the aircraft. Keep ourselves nice and level. We should be passing to the right of the peak up ahead. It's just a little bit off the side of the track, but on course. What we're aiming for, really. Trying to make sure we are still generally in the right direction. Should do us just great. Probably come a little bit close to the ground there, but absolutely fine by me. Shouldn't be too long a flight today, but it is beautiful, beautiful scenery. Recent patches have made some weird changes. The last patch, just before Halloween, had a bunch of bug fixes, but it also created a bunch of bugs with workarounds that third-party developers have made to their aircraft, including things where you get some crash desktop issues with third-party control setups, and when it comes to some of the aircraft, like Coronado's Mooney, the OBS knob is just spinning constantly. Something that all the developers are rushing to patch, of course, but with a sim this early, should we say in its lifespan, it's incredibly easy for us to be super critical about these major problems, but I don't think they're major overall. They're relatively minor, and with us only being 4 or 5 months since launch, and developers still learning the SDK and the SDK's features being expanded upon based on what they want, it's going to take time. Did they release it early? Yes, I think they released it a bit too early. About now too early, frankly, but hey. And they also should have been apparently working with all these developers to produce these aircraft and to build this marketplace of content. If they wanted to release with lots of content on day one, that would have been great. And it would have been even better if they released it with the developers really understanding the SDK, and they worked with developers if they wanted to build that relationship. So that would have been a huge thing, I believe, for them. But they didn't do it. So Microsoft, in its infinite wisdom, chose to go down its own road. And, well, that's on them, I guess. But, you know what? I am not going to be one to pass up a gorgeous simulator. And this is, honestly, I think, looks better than even flying in Orbx regions in P3D. I'll take it. I've not tried the True Earth stuff though in Orbx or in P3D. That is something I may do. In fact, I will maybe make a video comparing True Earth in P3D5 with this, and we'll see how it looks. Because True Earth is what I believe was Orbx's practice run for 2020. Essentially autogen photo scenery and a higher standard of terrain compared to what they've done for their previous regions. So it could well be that that provides a far more balanced experience with an experienced game engine. But maybe that'll be up to finding out. We'll have to see. But it would give me a good excuse to get the old Cessna 207 out. One of my favourites. Or the 185. I miss those two badly. I really can't wait for those to come. Hopefully they will. Unfortunately, companies like Coronado will focus on the shiny. They have the Piper Seneca coming out too very soon. That I'm excited for. It is a fully steam gauge Seneca for 2020, and it is going to be great. I can't wait for that one. The 310 from Milviz is nearly ready. So we've got some exciting GA twins coming along. Ones I will most certainly be reviewing. A couple of people asked me about reviewing the India Foxtrot Echo jet. I have considered this, but I don't feel like I could be fair, because I don't fly jets. I mean, I'll try some jets at some point, and I will do my best, but I'm not a fighter, shall we say, simmer. I don't fly fighter jets. Even jet trainers, I could not do it justice. I could not be fair. When it comes to GA aircraft, to scenery, to plugins, I can give you a good opinion, I like to think, but when it comes to jets, fighter jets, I'm not that great at that. So maybe one of those cases where you go to another YouTube channel to find information on those sort of aircraft. I could try and be one of those YouTubers that makes a review of every single thing, whether they know anything about it or not. I could sit there and write a script and read research information and parrot off stuff you can find on Wikipedia, but can I tell you it's authentic? Can I tell you it's realistic? No, I can't. So all I could do is I tell you it looks nice and it flies nice and it's this on performance, but at the end of the day, what you want is it realistic? That I can't tell you. Plane like this, never flown this particular real plane in real life, but I can tell you it feels great. It sounds like a Rotax. It handles like a small, complex GA aircraft. Technically an ultralight classification, but a gorgeous one at that. I wouldn't mind flying one of these in real life. Especially if it's anything like this, and we're going to have to start putting some power on here to climb, to clear the mountains ahead of us. This is going to be our big test here. Because those are some high peaks. We're well and truly inside Austria now. believe that is going to be... Where's the airport here? Nikolsdorf down below us, to the right. If my mind serves me correctly. LOWZ. That is not Nikolsdorf, actually. Where's LOWZ? I don't see you on Garmin Pilot. Interesting. The weirdest part yet is that that airport is showing up at exactly the same location as Nikolsdorf should be, at Lenz in Austria. So... No, what's this? LOMM, that's LOAM. So I don't think that's the right place. Not sure if 2020 got everything exactly right when it comes to the airports, but I know Garmin Pilot's given me the real information. So that would be accurate. But it's the same river feature down there, so that's what tells me we're at the exact location, is that the fork in the river matches what I'm looking at on my map here and is accurate to it. That is definitely Lenz in Austria below us. Okay, so altitude's not looking terrible here. We've sunk a little bit more than I wanted to, but the scenery is stunning. Look at that. My god. With the weather preset, that looks beautiful. Picturesque valleys, rising peaks. True Austrian experience. And whether you think this simulator is perfect or not, this is one thing I can tell you for certain, is that 2020 definitely lets you go to places in the world that you may never have gone to before. And get a taste for them, get an experience of them. In a way you never could have done in other simulators, because now every part of the world is like this. There's no, oh, I have the Pacific Northwest Orbx region, so I have a general idea what the PNW looks like from the air. No, this is satellite accurate, so I'm flying through Austria, something I may never do. I could fly through Mongolia, Romania, Czechoslovakia, Iceland. All these places I will never fly, or might never fly, I can experience, and that's exciting for me. Get a taste of something somewhere else in the world, especially in 2020. That is something I know I need. I don't know about you guys, but I need a little taste of somewhere other than my office this year. So maybe releasing 2020 earlier than planned was the right choice, because, frankly, I think we all needed a little escapism, and it provided exactly that. Okay. On track to climb over the peak here. Aircraft performance is still very good. Should not be too far out. ETA is not too long either. About, I believe it says 12 minutes there on my PFD. Yeah, about 12 minutes. So we're doing very good right now. This plane has performed incredibly well actually at altitude, so surprisingly for a little ultralight class aircraft with the Rotax in there. I believe it's a 915. Don't quote me. Could be the 914 or 913 models, but I believe the lower end models has fixed gear too, so I believe it's a 915 Rotax. But for a little aircraft that's essentially an ultralight, and on an ultralight classification too, it is very nimble, great visibility, great for touring in flight sim here. 130 knots is about where you'll cruise, which is phenomenal. But that's usually a little bit lower than this, because right now we're climbing through nearly 10,000 feet. So we're bordering on oxygen territory here, so may have to do some leveling off here and some mountain skipping. Which we will do, because we are well off track. I've been too busy talking. But for its altitude, this plane is handling admirably. Absolutely admirably. Engine's fully in the green, and we're looking absolutely great on that front. And I am pretty impressed. Let's balance our fuel. We used the right tank for most of the trip so far, so let's burn some of the left tank so we have a nice balanced aircraft for our approach and landing at LOWZ. We've not used a huge amount so far, but it's worth balancing that out. Take a quick look here. Yeah, we should be good. We use a bit more than we'll probably burn in the left tank, but it should even us out enough to not be a big deal. Hi, Mountain. Nice to see you. How are you doing today? Yeah, good. I'm great. Yeah, how are you? Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, wow. Okay, so the PFD thought I was inside a mountain there. That's a new one. So, based on this, I believe we are... Again, can't quite see it because I'm blind. 20 nautical miles away. So, probably just beyond this other ridge here. We'll be dropping down into LOWZ. So, I think we're on good track for altitude concerns, at least here. That's stunning. That is very stunning. Gonna dip the wing a little to get a look. Sun to our rear, which makes the flight lovely for us. Lots of visibility. I was going to use the live weather here in Austria today, but it was grey, rainy, and low cloud. It would have been a horrible trip. So, we'll save the live weather for when it's either intended to be terrible or is a bit nicer. I feel Austria really benefits from seeing all of it. Okay. Cruise on track. I think if we skirt to the right of the peak up ahead of it, the one just the peak beyond the one in front of us, so where my mouse is pointing now, if we point to just here, we should be parallel to the track and also be able to not really have to climb much further than where we are, rather than having to climb up there, which would be a waste of my time. So we'll just roll to the right a little bit and we'll line ourselves up with that valley on the mountainside. Everything else looking great. A little bit less scenic up here, I'd suppose, with the scree slopes and gravel, but hopefully soon we'll be diving down into the beautiful scenic valleys of Austria. Now, I do believe I'll be flying out from Casero Razzo a few more times in the future. It's a beautiful little strip, and heading south into Italy, definitely full of picturesque, beautiful scenery and rolling alpine meadows. A wonderful place to fly. We'll get ourselves through here. That was a good call. And this is one thing I like to recommend to people when they do fly in mountainous areas. Do it more than you would think. Oh, a glacier. Do it more than you think, because eventually you'll start to get an eye for the terrain. You'll start to be able to read where things are. You may not necessarily fly on wherever you're heading to because the terrain is simply going to be easier another way. And that looks like a small... Oh wow, little village down there on the hillside above the glacier. That's beautiful. You'll start to read the terrain a lot more. You'll start to learn what your aircraft can do and how it climbs, what you can climb out of, what you can't, when to turn around if you're heading into a dead-end valley, and when to kind of commit to something, when you can circle to climb out of a valley, when you will have to simply try and go for it. There are times where it's going to be too late and you have to, the only choice really is turn around any way you can, otherwise you die. Because dead-end valley is one of the biggest killers of pilots in mountainous areas, and controlled flight into terrain because people simply lose airspeed. They misjudge the altitude of a climb, they misjudge how much room they've got, they misjudge the updrafts and downdrafts on different sides of a peak. Like here, you'll notice as we approach pretty closely to this, I'm going to take my hands off the controls. We'll see what the aircraft does. We could be crosswind right now, which will make no difference, but we are still flying. Yep, there you go. See the nose pull? Not very severe in this case. I'm not hands on the controls here. See? No hands on the controls. Pulled the nose down. That's the downdraft on the far side of the hill. That can be more severe in some cases. And that will definitely screw you over. If you've got particularly strong winds in an area and you end up with a downdraft on the lee side of a ridgeline, as I'm on TeamSpeak and hearing that stuff, which is not what I intended. Let me go fix that real quick. Sound pack deactivated. Go away. Oh, that ruined the immersion, didn't it? Nope. So I knocked my pitch there with my knuckle. But this is not particularly strong wind, so we're okay there. But it's something to pay attention to, because you can get lifted up on the windward side and dragged down on the leeward side, and then terrain can literally kill you. So we come around this ridgeline here, and we should be on final approach to LOWZ. So it's time to start diving down now. We'll pull back the throttle here, and we'll let the aircraft come down naturally. No need to really apply any pitch here. Let the airspeed behave naturally. We don't want to overspeed our descent either. Let the aircraft do what it wants, as it wants to. The more you try and force an aircraft to fly against its will, the more it will fight you and the worse the experience will be. The more you allow it to fly naturally and just guide it along, the better you'll fly. Sounds like some wax on crap, but it does work. Whether it's a real plane or a simulated plane, you'll get a far better experience if you don't fight the aircraft. There's the lake. That should be just behind LOWZ. So LOWZ should be down there, based on my mathematique. And in we come. Starting to get some prettier terrain now as we drop down. So, as I have the European edition of Garmin Pilot, I get to see all the approach tracks and things for LOWZ. Let's quickly check the airport details. Frequency is on Innsbruck radar, and it's okay. So it's a untowered with runways are 08 and 26. So we'll probably go for 26. Or 08 actually, probably looking like better with the winds we have right now. Hard surface, 2,500 feet, 60-foot width, perfectly easy. We'll take a look what we've got here. It is suggesting we go for a standard left traffic. Okay, so we'll go left traffic for 08, which will put us basically head to the river, or the lake there, and then we'll start our turn as we reach the water. There we go. Bring the nose down. That should be the airport directly below us there. Over there. Should be a nice easy descent in here. Bring the throttle back. So let the plane come down naturally. Performance will increase as we get a bit lower too, which will be nice. There's the town of LOWZ. So it's a very modified pattern here because of the terrain in the area. The pattern takes aircraft out over the corner of the lake there before swinging around in an L shape before turning base final. So it's a very dog-legged downwind it wants pilots to take. Tight base final is going to be a bit more tricky in hot conditions, so one to pay attention to. Gliders apparently have a right pattern here at LOWZ. So there's the airport appearing now, just below the ridge. We got it. Bring the throttle back even further. We'll drop our nose down here. This is beautiful. Beautiful Austrian terrain. Yeah, so gliders will operate there on the near side of the airfield to us, and our pattern is follows the downwind follows that curve of the mountainside, so we'll have to make this one work, I guess. This is why I love Garmin Pilot. It shows us areas with modified traffic patterns like this. I don't need to pull up, thank you. I'm perfectly fine. Leave me alone. I am using my best descent. Cut the throttle here. We'll reset our prop pitch now, as we'll keep descending. What is our altitude here at elevation? It's 2,400 feet, so we're looking for about 3,400. That will do nicely. Level the aircraft off. And we'll begin we'll give it a little bit of gas here, just to level us out. A little bit of trim to bring the nose up, and we'll start our turn as we hit the water. Haven't looked at the frequency, but it is untowered, so we'll pretend we're on frequency. LOWZ traffic, November 403 Sierra X-ray, entering left traffic, downwind for 08 to land. Okay, rolling it through. This is stunning. Look at this. My God. Oh, mein Gott in Himmel, I suppose. Okay, we'll come around this headland here. I keep calling it a headland even though it's not water, this ridge. There's the airport below us. That is breathtaking. My gosh. Wow. Absolutely breathtaking. Okay, deploy landing gear. So we have the runway in sight. I'm going to head for that tree line over there, just below the barn in the Limburg reference right now. As soon as we put that barn in the Limburg reference properly, that's when I'll make my turn for base. Very lazy base to final, but I'll have to make the turn pretty quickly. Okay. Landing flaps. LOWZ traffic, 03 Sierra X-ray, turning base for final to land. Nothing else in sight. Keep an eye on the threshold there. God, that's amazing. LOWZ traffic, 03 Sierra X-ray, turning final to land, runway 08. Bring it nicely round over the golf course here. Let the plane do the work. Light input on the control there. Little high for the little fast. So pull out the bush tricks and glider tricks technically, and slip her down a little bit. We are still going to be a little bit fast here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, we're burning speed pretty quickly there. Off center line though. Just readjust that. Although we are only on a single notch flap, so I'm just aware that I'm at 2,400 feet. I don't particularly want to give the aircraft too much, basically. Nicely done. A little off center line, but I'll take it. I have to modify the approach there a tad. Do we have a taxiway here? We do. LOWZ traffic, 03 Sierra X-ray, clear the runway. Taxi to parking. Okay, so that was once again, in my perfect classic style, a little hairier landing than I wanted. But that was more through because I can. This is stunning. This whole region is stunning. The flight was beautiful. And this airport looks amazing. We'll take a little bit of a look around once we're parked up. But this is gorgeous. Look at that little short Skyvan over there. Love to see one of those in the sim as a flyable aircraft, please. If anyone's watching, I know that's an Orbx one they've put in there as a model. Oh my god, a Nelly gyrocopter. Why are you freeze? There we go. So we've got a freaking... Oh my god, what is that thing? What is that thing? But I want to fly one. A freaking Nelly auto gyro there, a Red Bull one. Oh, that's amazing. I like this airport already. Usual GA traffic, some helicopters parked up, and a control tower. We'll take a little bit of a scooch around here in a moment. Now, to be ready for Microsoft to pull its BS when we get stopped here, we'll quickly... where did I leave the parking brake again? It's down there somewhere. I just can't remember where, so... We'll keep... Oh, there it was. Okay. Cut the fuel. Go away! Told you to continue. We'll take a look around, shall we? There we go. Mouse, go away. So, this is LOWZ in Austria. Stunning building detail as expected from Orbx and, well, Gaia simulations in this case. Helicopter area over here. Hopefully that's something coming to 2020 soon. Air ambulance here. Could be the police helicopter here, not sure, or at least mountain rescue. Medevac as well. Flugplatz LOWZ. That's the restaurant there. And the bouncy castle. Hell yes, I want to come here. That looks fun. That whole play area looks great fun. Beautiful airport restaurant. Beautiful little plane there. A little biased. Firehouse and hangars. I need a better look at these two. I gotta do it. So we've got a glider actually caged up there. That's amazing. I love it. Freaking Nelly autogyro. So that looks horrendous, and I'm now scared for my life. Genuinely scared. I'm positive it's a skydiving plane, but that thing looks ridiculous. Look at that thing. What is that? I'm just confused, but also I want it badly. So overall, beautiful little airport. Simple, effective, great destination for a hopping off point for GA flying out here in the Austrian Alps. Stunning terrain. Performance is great. Like, I've noticed there's been next to zero impact from the Orbx airports in 2020, so I can finally enjoy them. And of course, the glider's operating from the grass over here on this strip there. So when gliders come to FS, this will be a great location for it, because it's a glider field. Well, folks, thank you for joining me today on this wonderful flight, and hopefully you like these two airfields. I think they're both worth absolutely every penny in the case of this one, which you can get from the FTX Central app, and the other one is linked in the description for free. So, thanks for joining me. Goodbye.